Hi, I'm Ron Nutter, and welcome to another edition of Tech Bites with Ron Nutter. This time I'm going to show you how to use your Android phone and Android Auto to work like a public service scanner. And that starts now. There are times when you're traveling or even when you're in town. It's nice to know, or at least it gives you another source of information as to what's going on around you. Whether you're stuck in a major traffic jam on the drive to or from work, if you are in the, say, you've got a major storm event that's going on, and you'd like to know what the weather service is saying without having the weather service forecast interpreted by someone. If you've listened to the weather service enough, they pretty much say what it is. Now, meteorologists do add value, but most of the time you just simply need to know what's going on. If you're out at a public sporting event and you start hearing thunderstorms going on, you can go to the weather service and find out what's going on. And this is where the Scanner Radio app, and I've got a link to it in the show notes, helps you do that. Now, full disclosure, there are other apps, but this is the only one I've seen that has full integration with Android Auto, where you don't have to make it work. It is supported by Android Auto, so it's another tool in your bag of tricks. So it's handy to have, and we'll have a video here in just a moment where I'll show you where you can listen to National Weather Service. You can listen to public service. Now, public service can be police, fire, ambulance, hospitals in some cases, marine radio when you're in certain areas of the country, even railroads. So depending on what's going on, you can get a pretty good picture of your own of what's going on in the situation. And plus, sometimes they're interesting to listen to. But enough of that. Let's shift over to my phone, and we'll go from there. Okay, now that we've switched over to my trusty Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, let's go over here and we will go into Scanner Radio. Now, for those of you who are not used to working with a scanner, or have not heard of one before, it basically allows you to listen to what's called public service, as far as police, fire, ambulance, hospital, airports, trains, shipping, all depending on what part of the country you're in. But sometimes you're traveling and you may not have your scanner with you, or it may not be programmed for the area. So the Scanner Radio app I'm going to show you is a good thing to have in your back pocket, either for when you're traveling, or say if you're on the daily commute to and from work and you're in the middle of an accident, you kind of like to know what's going on. This is what you can do to start listening to that. Now, we'll first go to nearby scanners, and this uses your phone location, and that way it helps you see what scanners it knows of in the area. So you can see where I'm at, there are a host of things that you can available. Now, the available scanning sources may change from time to time. Usually it's police, fire, and sometimes it's the agencies themselves that are making this available. You've got, in my case, the airport tower at the major airport in the area. You will sometimes have overlaps in what's available. Now, the audio, and I'm not going to play any audio clips because there's a federal regulation that I might get into trouble with as far as replaying broadcast. But you can get the idea of what you're looking at. The interesting thing, though, for those of you who are familiar with what an amateur radio operator is, or even if you haven't, they have a very interesting partnership with the National Weather Service. They are the eyes and ears of the National Weather Service to give on-the-ground reports of what's going on, because the Weather Service can only tell so much. So you've got the ability to listen to a amateur radio operator or repeater in this case. Now, you'll see this one right here. This one is called a Skywarn repeater. Now, not all of them may be labeled, but Skywarn is the key word to look for when you're trying to get weather information and you want to know beyond just what's getting sent out over the National Weather Service frequencies. But this at least gives you an option, and we'll just go ahead and let's see, where's the National Weather Service one up here? There is. I know there's one in the area. Now, I will warn you up front, the audio quality is suspect. Well, here we'll pick one. There's nobody on this one at this point. Now, this one's labeled a Skyborn repeater. It's well west of my location. And this, well, you see, you'll get some ads come up in this version, but that's it. So there may be periods of times when you don't hear anything, but this is the interface you're looking at. Now, the thing to do when you go into an area that you're not normally in, and you notice this, we'll scroll back up top. You notice several of these are gold stars. These are ones that I've tagged as a favorite. Here's where it's going to come into play. Now, we want to make sure, hold it, we'll go back up here, go into that, and we want to stop the streaming. And you'll see why here in just a moment. Okay, now we'll get, actually, yeah, okay, we're out of that. So we'll start up Android Auto, just pretend like we're in our vehicle. This is where it comes into play. Now, we will tap on the little headset and tap it again. Now, you can see there's all the sources listed here, but here is scanner radio. And then from the ones you've got as favorites, those are already kind of on your pre-selected short list. Now, you can also do nearby scanner. So it's going to give you the same interface, but this way, if you've got someone's pre-selected, it's going to shorten how much you have to look around. Now, do you want to use this in your daily drive? At least there were, I can't say if there's currently, there were some laws in some parts of the country saying that you could not use a scanner in a vehicle. Well, several areas I know that kind of got made into a gray area because the newer radios that amateur radio operators can use have scanning functionality in them. So that they kind of had to either modify their laws or just do away from them. So this gives you an idea of one way that you can use Android Auto, and this gives you at least another information. Like I said, the quality of the audio is going to vary. One of the National Weather Service sites that I listen to, the person who was receiving it must have been either in a fringe area or not had a good antenna or just they weren't in a good area to receive it. So it was a little staticky. But staticky versus not getting it all, because if you don't have a Weather Service radio to carry with you, and those are fairly small, fairly compact, this is an alternate way to look at it. Okay, well, now you've got a pretty good idea of the possibility. I mean, yes, do I carry one of these? Well, at times I do. I'll get to see the lights a little bit better. Now, the thing with this one, you've got to program it. You've got to use sources like radioreference.com or have somebody already have a configuration that you can download and put in the radio. And that's one option. But if you're not used to using a scanner, or it's just one less thing you don't want to carry, well, then, Android Auto and the scanner radio app are options. Now, I've got links in here to everything I've used you don't have to use the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, but I've got other things in here, such as the interfaces that I've been using to power it from the vehicle. There's Bluetooth links you may need to think about if you're not currently doing this. There's a whole host of things that make it a little bit easier. There's the IOTI mount that I've got in here. So it just makes it easier because Android Auto really is kind of a hidden gem. There's not a lot of people who've talked about it. There's several vehicle manufacturers that are supporting it. I've never seen them pitch it. I looked at 2 different ones today. Nowhere was it mentioned, but if you go on the Android Auto site, that is certainly something to consider in your next vehicle. And if it doesn't support it, all you've got to have is your smartphone and a Bluetooth link into the vehicle, and you're ready to go. So this is something worthwhile to have, like I said, especially in cases of emergency, or if you get stuck in traffic, you kind of like to know what's going on. You can get at least an idea, depending on when you start listening, as to the fire and police response. And there's a lot going on that you may not have ever heard of before, not been aware of. So this is another way to be aware of your surroundings. Well, that's all I've got for this video. Thank you very much for your time. For those of you who've been subscribing, thank you does not say it enough. It really tells me that you value the content that I'm putting out. I hope that this is able to help you in some way. Anything you see mention me in the videos, I will have affiliate links at the bottom. And if you do buy something from that, It's not going to change the price you pay. I will get a small commission of it, and that goes right back into the cost of the equipment I've been getting to produce these videos. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Would love to help answer your questions and any future things you might look about. I will be making available as a thank you for those subscribed to my email list. I've created an excerpt from volume 1 of my smart home series, so you can get an idea of doing something as simple as getting your garage door to be controlled within your smart home without having to put a whole new system in or doing a major upgrade or dealing with things that you just may not really want to have to fool with. So again, thank you very much for your time, and we'll see you in the next video.